President Tinubu attends a Quiba process meeting on West African security.
Federal government reaffirms commitment to resolving ASU issues, cautions against disruption of academic calendar.
NCDC promotes public health through translation of vital messages.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, our focus is on the Anambra Governorship Election.
November 8, 2025 is a date every politically alert person in Anambra State is looking forward to.
Indeed, I agree with you. Now, the state's governorship election will hold on that day. This election is shaping up to be more than just another ballot. It is a real test of democratic resilience in the Southeast.
You're right, Jumai. 16 candidates are in the ring, 14 men, 2 women, and the political air is absolutely electric.
Quite electric, and you can say that again. It's the ultimate political chessboard. APGA's Professor Charles Soludo wants a second term, leaning on that trademark grassroots network that has kept the party in charge since 2023.
But there
2003, sorry.
Pardon?
2003.
2003. 2000, are you sure?
Yeah, 2003. APGA has been there since 2003.
Yes, that's true. But here, the challengers, Nicholas Ukachukwu of the APC, banking on federal backing, George Mugalu of the Labour Party, who is riding the youth wave, and Obi Effect, and PDP's Jude Ezenwafo, hoping to rebuild a house divided. Quite the lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not just about who has the flashiest manifesto. Security concerns, logistics, and voter confidence are all in the ballot too.
If INEC delivers a smooth, credible process, turnout could surprise us. But if materials arrive late or accreditation falters, we might see another low-energy poll.
Issues there, and either way, Anambra 2025 is more than just a contest for power. It is a referendum on trust, leadership, and the future direction of governance in the region. Today, we will discuss issues in Anambra governorship election. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am Jumai Yusuf.
And I'm Ademola Adeoye. I also welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria, the first in the week. We are live on the network service of the NTA. Newspaper review comes up shortly, but first the news with Mina Daniel. Good morning, Mina.
Morning.
Good morning, Ademola and Jermaine. Good morning, Nigeria. Here is the news. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Rome for the Quiba process heads of state and government meeting on West African security. The meeting, co-chaired by Jordan and Italy, will discuss terrorism, cyber radicalization, and regional cooperation. President Tinubu will also hold bilateral talks with leaders on security collaboration and peace efforts. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has directed all chapters to commence a 2-week warning strike from midnight Monday, October 13, ASU President Professor Chris Pewona said the decision followed the government's failure to resolve lingering university issues despite repeated engagements, stressing ASU's frustration with unfulfilled promises and slow responses.
The negotiating table and discuss and resolve these issues with us.
In the meantime, the Federal Minister of Education has reaffirmed government's commitment to resolving ASU issues through dialogue. Ministers Maruf Alausa and Soeba Ahmed said most concerns have been addressed, urging ASU to avoid strikes. They restated adherence to no work, no pay, emphasizing government's dedication to stability, welfare, and academic progress under the renewed hope agenda. A central bank governor, Governor Olayemi Cardoso, will lead Nigeria's delegation to the World Bank IMF annual meetings in Washington, D.C., opening October 13, 2025. Cardoso replaces Finance Minister Wale Dun. Events at the World Bank IMF annual meetings include development and financial committee sessions, regional briefings, and economic fora. Minister Doris Ozoka Anete will join discussions on global economy and development strategies. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control, ACDC, has partnered with youth organizations and language experts to translate key health information into local languages. Director General Dr. Jide Idris said the initiative will strengthen health awareness, bridge communication gaps, and improve public response to disease prevention and drug resistance across Nigerian communities.
Using local language helped women express their experiences to seek care and engage with healthcare providers more effectively. These examples remind us that language saves lives because when people can name a problem, they can begin to solve it.
President Bola Tinubu has celebrated his son, Sheyi, on his 40th birthday, praising his leadership discipline and service-driven values. The president commended Sheyi's dedication as a husband and father, urging him to keep inspiring others. He prayed for wisdom, good health, and greater achievements that will continue making Nigeria proud. Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuga ensured the safe return of Nigeria's Super Eagles after their aircraft developed a cracked windscreen in Luanda. His diplomatic coordination secured overnight permits across 5 countries, enabling quick travel to Uyo. The timely intervention was hailed as proactive diplomacy before Tuesday's World Cup qualifier. That's the news at this time. Good morning, Nigeria continues with Jummai and Ademola after the break.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying demand. We make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Diversity is unique, we have more than just a nation.
We are Nigeria, strengthening unity. We know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
And the National Productivity Order of Merit Award goes to... The only tomato paste manufacturer to win the National Productivity Order of Merit Award by the Federal Government of Nigeria, endorsed by the Association of Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria. This is an evidence of 100% natural goodness. Eat healthy to live longer. Buy now and enjoy up to 20% discount.
Tomato paste, the taste of Nigeria.
Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury 3-in-1 Hot Chocolate, the treat you deserve.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on malaria gone.
The energy from breakfast doesn't last my child the whole day. By halftime, they are low on energy. That's why break time is the right time to re-energize. It's that break time energy that helps keep your champ in the game.
Pack the nourishing energy of Milo with a great taste into the lunchbox every day. Milo, energy to go further. Milo!
TerraCube is available in beef, chicken, jollof, and crayfish flavors in 50 cubes Saver Pack and 100 cubes Super Saver Pack.
TerraCube, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
For an exclusive 3-time skin effect, try Nivea Men Deep powered by black carbon. For 48-hour deep moisture, a fresh skin feel, and a long-lasting masculine fragrance. Make an impact with Nivea Men Deep Impact Body Lotion. Try Nivea Men Deep Roll-On for 72-hour antibacterial sweat protection.
The world needs moms. With a splash of golden Terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change no thanks into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty family meals is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love. Golden Terra oil, pour pure love.
What wakes you up in the morning? Is it the sunrise? Is it the alarm? No. It's your dream that wakes you every day. It's what drives you like a powerful engine. That's why you start strong every day with the rich, creamy taste of Nescafe 3-in-1, carefully crafted from selected coffee beans. You're on your hustle, and you won't stop until you succeed. Start strong, finish strong.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria, and newspaper review is up.
Yeah, our newspaper reviewer, Chukwudi Okoli Ugwaja, is here with us. Chooks, good morning.
Good morning, Demola.
Another
On a very
bright
cold
week.
morning. Yeah, bright week, of course. I woke up very positive. Things are going to happen for me this week.
Very cold, you say?
It's very cold.
Where?
No, the weather is cool, actually.
Jumai, you should see your doctor from time to time.
I come from a place where when it's cold, it's cold.
Yeah.
Not Abuja. Abuja weather is just like AC weather
That's
to
what
us.
she says all the time.
No, you should understand her.
I am what my people call ikripo.
No, you don't understand her. That Meno, whatever.
Okay, you want to expose me on air. All the hot flush and all that, eh?
It's okay.
Mr. Chukwudi, good morning.
Morning, my
Let
dear.
me quickly begin with the Blueprint newspaper. And above the masthead of the Blueprint newspaper, treat gunshot victims before police report. I think that's the National Association of Resident Doctors urging hospitals. You find the details on page 10. And below the masthead, Autumn Alia Bika over 100 billion infrastructure loan. and it's on page 17. And in sports, Super Eagles arrive Uyo after aircraft scare. That was indeed quite a scare for Nigerians. Thank God they are back home. And just by the picture story here, Yakubu reforms laid foundation for credible polls. That's attributed to INEC. And staff, 50 staff attacked under ex-commission bars. And the headlines: Presidency, why 2027 is not yet Southeastern. That's attributed to the Minister of Works, Umahi. With riders list critical multi-billion ongoing projects. And PDP risks total collapse in region if Mba joins APC. That's coming from Okechukwu. And FG to defiant ASU, your 2-week strike no longer justified, says all concerns already addressed. Want to know all about that? You go to page 8. And at the bottom plate, Fitch reaffirms Nigeria's B rating amid declining inflation. Find the details on page 22. Global trade expands by 500 billion naira in HI 2025. That's a report not attributed to anybody now. 2026 Hajj, Saudi releases health advisory to intending pilgrims. It's on page 20. And Lagos records 3,629 cases of violence against children in 1 year. Find all the details in the paper. Mr. Demola?
Okay, I have the Daily Times newspaper here with me, and just above that nameplate, we have Nigeria lost 3.09% oil output in September to strike. That's NUPRC. Details of that story is on page 12. Federal government threatens no work, no pay as ASU begins nationwide strike. Details of that main story is on page 2 as well. Analyst seeks data harmonization to use NIN for elections. Mba's exit signals end of PDP in Southeast Okechukwu. Article 2, Tinubu, reckless use of presidential pardon undermines justice and emboldens criminality. Details of that story can be found on page 15. Global mortality rate declines by 67%. Details of that story can be found on page 13. Okay.
The Business NG, and above the masthead of the Business NG, Bala Mohammed accuses APC of plotting one-party states, says PDP will reclaim power in 2027. And Nigeria's public debt hits 152.4 trillion, nears 100 billion mark. You find the details on page 2. And below the masthead, Coastal Road controversy, Makinde Umwahi clash deepens as Nigerians seek clarity on cost. Details also on page 2. And a concerning story here, Nigerians groan as cooking gas prices bite harder. You find the details on page 2 also. And election year, spending threatens economic stability, says CBN. And Naira set to end 2025 at 1,458 Naira to a dollar. That's attributed to the Standard Bank. And Nigeria plans 2.8 billion euro bond. Sukuk issuance to strengthen reserves and finance budget. You also find the details on page 2. Mr. Chukudi? Gas again.
Yeah, gas. What I'm not very sure about is what has caused the latest hike. It was 25,000 Naira about a week and a half ago, but I hear is dropping. I went to a filling station and they said it's now 16,500 or so. That suggests that it is not really an official official pricing. That is not really official pricing that has caused it.
Maybe there was scarcity.
Because of the fluctuation.
Because they are saying 3,000 naira per kilogram in Lagos.
Yeah, whatever price it goes for, there would always be how much you sell a kilogram.
How much
so
you
if
buy.
it's how much you buy a kilogram. So let's assume that it's going to stabilize over time, because I've not heard anything concerning an official, statement.
I bought it at 19,500 just last week.
19,500. It had already started coming down, because it hit 25,000 really.
Wow.
But I went to a filling station and they told me 16.5. So you can see that there's a variation. ASU and government. I don't know whether the matter can be settled here on earth. It's really unfortunate what is happening.
Where will they settle with Mr. Chukwudi?
I don't know. I have to go hyperbolic, because it's a long-running thing. I'm tired of telling you about that famous caption somebody made. FG, please don't. ASU, we will. Talking about a looming strike.
That was then.
I'll never forget that TV
that was back then.
caption. And the story has not changed since then. So what is it with ASU and government? Have they become cat and dog? They can see eye to eye. The government is saying we've met a good chunk of what has happened, if not all. There's no basis for going on strike. But maybe what has become an issue now is, if they go on strike, are they going to be paid? I think the last time government eventually paid them. But what do our labor laws say on this matter? If I had a company and somebody goes on strike, and I don't think that strike is justified, I'm not likely to want to pay that person. But you can't speak like that in ASU matters, government workers matter. A lot of considerations come into it. When you're dealing with federal government institutions, federal government workers and all that, concerning strikes and all, there are a lot of colors between black and white.
So there's a lot of compromise.
Exactly. It is not you do this, I do that. It doesn't work that way. But whatever it requires to resolve this, it's about time. This has gone on for just too long. If I were an editor, I'll begin to ask myself whether it's worth putting in my news anymore. That's what I'm doing now.
And state universities won't go on strike. Private universities won't go on strike.
Exactly. They won't go on strike. It's the federal universities.
And our children will stay home.
No. Sometimes the state universities.
Sometimes they have started pulling out of late.
State university do join.
Not all states.
Exactly. That is part.
Not the private.
That is part of the reasonable autonomy we are asking for. You don't hear that an institution went on strike in the UK and the other ones will go on in other parts of it. It doesn't really work that way. I think we need to mature out of certain things. I'm not arguing against ASU. Neither am I saying government to have done so well. The way it is, we need to be objective umpires, arbitrators between them, because we want the matter to come to an end. Umahi is saying somewhere it's not the turn of the Southeast, when it gets to 2031, if the APC...
2031.
2031, if the APC is still there, we don't know how politics will pan out. He says it is then that the Southeast would... and I'm telling him, the gentleman's agreement in Nigeria would kick in. And then in 2031, if President Ahmed Tinubu is lucky to continue, somebody is going to tell you it's the turn of a northerner, so this Umahi theory. I don't know. I don't know how...
North and South.
Yes. And for Nigeria, the way I'm not one to... The Kennedys ruled America for so long, and not one American said it's coming from one family. They don't think
even
like
the
that.
The Bush.
They were that. Do we have good water? Do we have good education? Is our military still doing? It is still an African thing. That's why I tell you that clannishness, tribalism, ethnicity, is a major
I was
contender.
going to say that because they've gone past.
Exactly, they've gone past those days. They don't care whether one family wants to die in the White House over there.
What they look at is the merit.
The merit. Are they providing what we need? They don't even begin to think
America
like that
first.
at all.
America first.
Yes.
You come from anywhere you can.
It doesn't matter to them.
Become anything.
So Africa is still maturing. I don't know whether Africa can ever mature out of that thinking.
No, we will.
Because Africa is a clannish arrangement.
No. We'll get there.
Are you sure?
It will take time, but...
Which African country has got there? It's okay.
What do you mean?
Demola, I like your optimism, but sometimes I want us to erect it on very viable grounds, you know. It's okay, no problem.
We're just laying the foundation now. We're building the foundation.
Unless we remove ethnicity.
I know many foundations
ethnicity,
we have been laying since I was in primary school.
Unless we remove ethnicity, religion, and tribe
That's
from
the
our
point.
politics, that is the way we can move
That
forward.
is the
But
point.
as long as we say this is from the north, look, I don't care if Nigeria is going to get better. If you come from Congo, I'll vote for you. I don't care where you come from. I hope you understand. But as long as we say he is our own, no, it must go to the north, it must go to the south, it must go to the east. It doesn't make sense.
It's prehistoric thinking.
Yes.
If we have a dazzling northerner, a dazzling southeasterner, a dazzling northwesterner, I mean, somebody from the north southwest, for crying out, put that person in Aso Rock. We're interested in the utilities you're giving us.
We saw what happened
we saw what happened. Problem of trust now.
Yes, we saw what happened in the 2023 election with Obi making a headway.
Oh yeah,
So I think the thinking is beginning to change, especially with the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha. They don't care where you come from as long as Nigeria will work.
Yeah, I like that. I like the comparison, or rather the memory you brought up. Obi really did a lot. I don't know whether he still has that clout. Whether he's retained
maybe
it.
Somebody else will come with that cloud.
But it shows that things could happen.
I hope it happens in my lifetime for me to be able to see a Nigeria where
that is why you have to be optimistic.
Yes, I am optimistic, but still, as long as godfatherism exists, we'll be talking about that on our discussion.
Can you actually do without fatherism in this?
Yes, other people do it. Other countries do it. Why can't we do it in Nigeria?
The issue of trust. They have godfathers. They are just playing it, coolly. The godfathers are everywhere. There are godfathers in this country.
Even in America, they are godfathers, but they don't show themselves.
That's why on a day that I don't particularly feel that this is how it should be, I say FCT minister. Other people are godfathers. You don't get to hear about them. They could actually be more effective than you.
Yes, they are just behind the scene.
It's the way you play it. There are godfathers in your family, Demola. I don't want to destroy the fabric of that family. But there are godfathers. There are people preferred over other people.
And they are self-made people too at the same time.
Exactly.
So maybe a self-made man will rule this country. In my lifetime, I can't wait to see it, actually.
Is there anybody that is self-made?
Yeah. Of course,
will have to
God made him. God is the Godfather.
He wants to start an argument that the entire Good Morning Nigeria belt would not handle.
Is there this anyone that is self-made? You are helped one way or the other.
Yes. There was something else you raised that I wanted to talk about.
What's that?
I didn't quite note it here. Anyhow, I think...
is it the Yakubu's reforms, laid foundation for credible apples?
No. It was actually I think you mentioned something on the pardons also.
No.
Okay, you didn't mention that.
Well, we thank God our Super Eagles arrived to Nigeria safely.
Yes.
They gave us quite a scare over the weekend, actually.
Yeah. We thank God they arrived safely. Remember the Zambian team.
Yes.
You understand? So we must be grateful to Providence.
Yes, Cup of Nations, was it 94?
But after that, I don't like people pushing up my blood pressure to a limit that my system might not take. I don't know why Nigeria cannot easily qualify for World Cup. There are abundant talent in this country. It is time to do a replacement chart for those Eagles that play for you, for us.
Did you watch the match?
I saw it. I saw it.
Oh my goodness!
I saw it.
I was hearing the screams from
my
neighbors, but I didn't. I was watching wrestling.
They didn't really do badly because
they were careless at the back.
Yeah, no, the back line. They are not watching Arsenal. That is their problem. They need a back line. They need a back line that works. You know, I've been talking well with him.
After
I want to end on a note
after
of
like
quarrel.
Uche Ogechukwu, Charibu West and all that, our wing has become very weak.
Yes.
Our wing, the Nigerian wing has become very weak, and it's just easy for them to pass through.
I'm not one
as
of
long
those,
as the wing is weak,
I'm not one of those
the
who
defense
think that
cannot hold.
everybody must be imported to play for us.
You started well.
Really, they should watch Arsenal, because Arsenal gives
Thank
the
you.
best.
Well, we'll take a break now. We'll return.
Let's
after
squeeze
this
him in.
conversation. We'll go for a break now.
Bye-bye, Mr. Chukwudi.
You are digressed. So we'll go for a break now. When we return, the conversation will continue. Stay with us.
The energy from breakfast doesn't last my child the whole day. By halftime, they are low on energy. That's why break time is the right time to re-energize. It's that break time energy that helps keep your champ in the game.
Pack the nourishing energy of Milo with a great taste into the lunchbox every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo! In today's fast-paced world, staying ahead demands peak performance from our bodies.
Like never before, our bodies need an optimum supply of essential nutrients, and Supermalt supports our daily nutritional needs.
Supermalt has 20 essential vitamins, minerals, and natural extracts for overall health and wellness. One Supermalt a day gives you energy and vitality, improves your mental performance, and supports your immunity.
Guys, food is ready!
Suitable for jollof rice, stew, spaghetti, and yam portage. Cooked to impress.
What wakes you up in the morning? Is it the sunrise? Is it the alarm? No. It's your dream that wakes you every day. It's what drives you like a powerful engine. That's why you start strong every day with the rich, creamy taste of Nescafe 3-in-1, carefully crafted from selected coffee beans. You're on your hustle, and you won't stop until you succeed. Start strong. Finish strong.
No buy am. But why? No see say this big bull bag of rice no get the new big bull holographic seal. Not true.
Introducing the Big Bull Holographic Seal Tape, your favorite authentic Big Bull rice, 50 kg and 25 kg. Now with holographic seal tape. This is to ensure you get the premium product from Big Bull Rice. Do not buy if the holographic seal tape is not on the bag or is broken. Big Bull Rice. Tasty rice nourished you.
Nivea Black and White Deodorant, now with 72-hour protection. But what does that mean? 3 cities in 3 days and no fear of sweat and odor. 120 dances with skin as smooth as the moves. Sweat, stain and odor protection. Nivea Black and White Deodorant. Skin is for embracing life. Nivea is for skin.
Good, tasty food is worth living for. Worried about your oil every time you enjoy your favorite meal? Introducing Smart Balance. Smart Balance rice bran oil is rich in gamma oryzanol. Several studies suggest that gamma oryzanol may contribute to the reduction of bad cholesterol. Golden Terra Smart Balance oil. Good food, no worries.
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria, and to push our conversation on issues in Anambra election, here's a background report put together by Timothy Yusuf.
The upcoming Anambra State Governorship Election on November 8, 2025 has raised concerns about the tone and direction of political campaigns, with some politicians deviating from issue-based campaigns. For instance, the feud between Governor Charles Soludo, who is also the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance ABGA, and Senator Uche Ekwunife, a deputy governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, has exemplified the trend of resorting to mudslinging insults, and personal attacks. Their exchange of words has devolved into personal attacks, with Uche Ekwunife questioning Soludo's personal hygiene and Soludo doubting Ekwunife's academic credentials. Such rhetoric not only undermines the dignity of the office, but also distracts from pressing issues that require attention. Political analysts believe that such verbal sparring matches have far-reaching consequences like eroding public trust. Many also believe that verbal assaults can create divisions within the community, making it challenging to address common issues. In the meantime, 16 candidates are vying for the governorship seat, representing different political parties. Two political parties have nominated female candidates: African Action Congress (AAC) and National Rescue Movement (NRM). 6 political parties have female running mates: Accord, All Progressives Congress (APC), Action People's Party (APP), Boot Party (BP), Labour Party (LP), and Zenith Labour Party (ZLP). The candidates' ages range from 36 to 71 years. The election will be held across the 21 local government areas of the state in over 6,000 polling units. Overall, INEC has a crucial role to play in promoting decorum in campaigns. The Commission has therefore cautioned political parties and politicians, as well as their supporters. By promoting decorum and issue-based campaigns, politicians can foster a more respectful and constructive electoral environment, ultimately benefiting the people of Anambra State. Let's now join our guests in the studio for more.
Thank you very much, Timothy Yusuf, for that background report. Issues dominating discourse at Anambra, off-cycle election coming soon. And we have already guests who are ready to discuss these issues. Well, in the studio, in no particular order, is Ezenwa Nwagu, Chairman, Partners for Electoral Reforms, who also is a birthday boy. Congratulations. Happy birthday to you.
That was yesterday.
Yesterday, right.
I didn't bring the cake.
So you're welcome. Good to have you again. All right. And who's next is Mazi Jide a public affairs analyst. Jide Ojo.
He's also celebrating 35 years of
media. Is it 35 years?
35 years.
25 or 35?
35.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
It's a pleasure.
So Mazi, you're welcome.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for the title. One Nigeria.
And also joining us via Zoom from Gogalada in the FCT is Dr. Abdurrahman Abu Hamisu, researcher, political scientist, and public affairs analyst. We thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, let's kickstart our conversation. Gentlemen, we've listened to the background report there, and we're looking at issues that, should dominate discourse at this off-cycle election. Let me start with you, Ezenwa. What has been your observation so far concerning this coming election in Anambra State?
Well, I think Anambra, for me, has been very much known for low turnout. It's never exceeded 30. It's never come to 30% at any point in time. And especially the last governorship election, I think was around 21% turnout or so. I can't clearly remember. So, and so my investments in understanding that will be to find out what has always been the challenge, and I am hoping that the current trend of events can trigger, much more participation than we have seen in the past.
Okay.
Because it looks like it's a bit more competitive even if not in terms of issues. Nigerians like gbas, what they call gbas. They enjoy if you make your campaigns completely cerebral in a place like Anambra, you might lose the people. But this Ekunife Soludo engagement is also in a way, some kind of catalyst to see whether there will be much more interest. But in terms of what it will mean for the people themselves, at the end of the day, they will be shortchanged by not having something to track. You can't track insults, and you can't track, vituperations and such other mudslinging that we have seen. So, but if we're able to get a situation in which the coming days there will be some kind of town halling where people can sit down and say, this is what I want to do for education, this is what I want to do for infrastructure, this is what I want to do for the different issues that the everyday Anambrarian contends with. I think that will be helpful. I know that the siege mentality that was 2021 is not there anymore. Okay. In terms of what the IPOB and such other groups, the kind of interest they took in the last election, it doesn't appear that exists. So you are going to have a much more conducive.
Totally, or it's just like it's reduced?
It has to be reduced. First is that in some sense, there's been some deep interest in making sure that the place is a bit safe. Okay. In terms of kidnappings, shootings, cult-related activities. But the siege mentality that I talked about was really, really fierce. Yeah. If you were part of the Anambra of that election of that period, where you're on radio, some of us who had radio programs in Anambra, you were insulted and then threatened that, and then when you got to Anambra, you saw that the number of security agencies outweighed the number of people who were coming to vote. So, but I don't think I think there's a relative peace in the town, and I hope they can take advantage in the state, that they can take advantage of it to cast their votes, and also not just only casting their votes, but centralize issues that have to do with the well-being of the greater percentage of Anambrarians.
Okay.
Well, so it all boils down to fear. That's why they're not coming out to vote. Now, let's bring in Jide Ojo into this conversation. Why does the Anambra election matter so much? Not just for the Southeast, the state, but for Nigeria itself. We have a new man at the helms of affair at INEC. It's a litmus test for him, don't you think?
Yeah, thank you, Juma. Good morning, Nigerians. It's a litmus test for Professor Joash Ojoamupitan. I don't know whether it will have been confirmed and will have been inaugurated by November 8th, but be that as it may, there's an acting chairperson in the person of Mrs. May Agbamuche Mbu, who will, in the absence of Professor Amupitan, will still coordinate the affairs. And by the time Professor Mahmoud Yakubu was exiting, bulk of the work has been done. It's barely 3 weeks to the elections. I think they should be talking about training of ad hoc staff, or concluding recruitment of ad hoc staff, then training, and then deployment. But nothing new for Anambra to offer. One thing that I think Anambra has been in the news, if you recall, from 1999, Anambra people have shown political dexterity of sort. Remember in 1999, we have Umbadiniju as the governor, who didn't win a second term, was booted out to the extent that even his party did not give him a re-election ticket because of his woeful performance, or supposedly woeful performance in his tenure. He had to go to AD to contest in 2003. And that was when Ngige came in. And of course, you remember the Ngige
saga.
Peter Obi, Chris Uba, Chris Ngige, Godfather, Godson, which dovetailed into litigations that eventually got Peter Obi his stolen mandate. And then Peter Obi did 8 years, and Obiano did 8 years. And now we have Soludo. Whether people will reward Soludo with a re-election, left to be seen. But you know, Anambra gave Nigeria, if the history of off-cycle governorship election in Nigeria started in Anambra. So because of the issue of tenure of the governor, when Peter Obi came in, when Ngige was removed by the Court of Appeal and Peter Obi came in, and you know, Peter Obi also faced impeachment, reinstatements. Anambra also gave us the first acting governor, female acting governor. So Anambra is one thing about Anambra politics, which is very interesting. Is Anambra state is known as a state of commerce, and a state with the highest number of billionaires in Nigeria. Highest number of billionaires. According to estimates from 2 years ago, they have over 300 people who are billionaires. And some of these people are not politicians, but they can spend their last kobo to prevent somebody they don't like to emerge. You know, they are just... So when it comes to issue of money or money politics, they do not spare resources to support. But you see, one thing that the dynamics that have changed, which Chief Ezenwa talked about, is that unlike in the last election where election could not hold in Ihiala and one other local government, Udemile, Ihiala, we may not see, because of the very prominent, that was when we were having sit at home, when IPOB was still very powerful, and the military had to be deployed to support the civil authorities to conduct the elections. The situation has been very calm now. And if you also look at what Professor Charles Soludo as governor has done in terms of security, since the beginning of this year, he has given the security agencies some support to be able to deal with issue of insecurity. Kidnappers have been rooted out. If you are caught involving kidnapping, your house will be pulled down. Then some of those juju priests who are doing charms for were all rounded up. And from what I learned, the governor said, "You said you have chance to make people disappear." So you are under arrest. If you are able to disappear, we will not look for you. So we will know that your charm is potent.
So they didn't disappear.
But we don't know of any who has disappeared. But that's just on a lighter note. The most important thing is that INEC has its work cut out for it. All eyes will be on INEC. And the dynamics of Southeast is coming. One thing about Anambra, too, which you must not fail to mention, is that is the only state where All Progressive Grand Alliance has held sway since the time of Peter Obi. From Peter Obi down to Willie Obiano, down to Soludo. That is the only state that All Progressive Grand Alliance have jealously protected. We do not know whether the inroad that APC has made in the recent past, remember we now have people like Chris Ngige in APC. We have Ifeanyi Ubah that died, who was also nursing governorship ambition, has already crossed to APC. Nicholas Ukachukwu is the governorship candidate of APC, was previously in other parties, PDP and all of them. But what I see with the forthcoming Anambra election is that it's going to be a two-horse race between the APC and the ABGA candidate. Incidentally, when you look at the national politics, ABGA and Soludo has adopted President Tinubu for 2027. So, and Soludo claimed that he and President Tinubu had been friends for over 20 years. So, issue of would there be federal might backing the candidate of APC in Anambra, or will the presidency just say it's a local stuff, deal with it? I don't want to be.
Right. Okay.
We will all see that panning out in the coming days.
All right. Okay. We'll see what will pan out in the coming days. Let's bring in Dr. Abu Amisu into this discussion now. Dr. Amisu, how much could you say the activities now, the campaign, and also the discourse? How would you describe what is happening in Anambra State right now concerning the off-cycle election?
Well, I think we are getting closer and closer to a situation that we always pray for in Anambra State. And what is the situation we usually pray for? We always pray for peaceful, credible elections that reflect the wishes of the people of Anambra State. Remember before now, in 1999, we have the influence of the Godfathers who decide everything, and they are the voters, they are the people that conduct primaries, they are the people that conduct the main election to select those that represent the people of Anambra, whether the people of Anambra likes it or not. And that brought a situation, and that situation was the infighting that ensued between the Godfathers and the Godsons in Anambra State. And then that brought the former governor, Peter Obi, to power in Anambra State. I think starting from Peter Obi to Willie Obiano down to Professor Charles Soludo, you could say that the people were able to wrestle the powers that were wielded, albeit illegally, by the Godfathers that turned Anambra State upside down, giving the state a bad name, where a sitting governor was abducted in a broad daylight, and nothing happened up to this moment. Nobody was prosecuted for that. So you could see that the trajectory is moving towards peaceful conduct, where the aspirants could go to the people with their programs and then campaign vigorously to be elected. So for me, it is a positive trajectory away from the violence that we used to witness, holding the state hostage, and then all the things that are bad that are associated with politics in Anambra State. So it is a welcome development that up to this moment, the people have faith in the democratic process, and they are leveraging that very particular process to elect those that will represent them, which is a positive development. So I'm not thinking of anything negative right away with what we've seen and with what INEC has done. It is a national template. I remember we had a heated debate one certain time with my brother Ezema Mwabu, when I referred to our political parties as briefcase political parties that are becoming more of NGOs. And he said, no, that the number of political parties does not matter because it will assist to open the democratic space. And I was of the opinion that the list of political parties at that point in time were so long, and that we need to reduce them. That we have 16 candidates today in Anambra State is because they have faith in the process. As at the time that the Abga revolution started in Anambra State, nobody gave Abga any chance because that was the period that federal might was deployed to muzzle people, institutions, and to give fair advantage to the ruling party. But the people stood their ground, they stood their guard, and today that is gradually paying off. So what we're looking out for is that peaceful atmosphere where every Anambra person that have come of age and has attained 18 years of age could move out of their homes freely to vote. And that is exactly what we want to see in this country. Before now, we don't even believe that any small party could win election in Nigeria. Nobody gave Labour Party a chance in FCT because most people thought that it is the big parties, the so-called big parties that will win the senatorial election. But again, LP surprised people. You go to Nasarawa State, where you have Social Democratic Party winning an election. At that point in time, nobody felt that Social Democratic Party could win election. What this is telling us is that our democracy is maturing. In Kano, people thought NNPP could not win election because of the incumbency factor and federal might. But that did not come to pass. So what we are saying is once the polity is configured in such a way that people can vote and their vote will count, I don't think that people will not have faith in such a process. So Anambra State is exactly what we want to see, so that whoever, if the people feel that Professor Charles Soludo has done excellently well and he deserves to be rewarded with a second term, so be it. If they feel otherwise, that he has not done well and they want to change him, so be it. So one of the things that democracy has guaranteed is peaceful change and transition. And once you cannot have it, you can't call it democracy, and elections become selection.
Abdul Rahman Amiso, I'm going to stay with you. Can you just, Anambra set precedents in the history of politics in Nigeria, like Jide Ojo noted, and our background report also noted. But according to our background report, the opposition seems fragmented, sort of. So how significant, is this unity between the other parties in determining the outcome of this election? And how can you assess the governor Soludo so far, what he has done in Anambra State? Will it give him a leverage to win this election? What are your thoughts?
Well, we are actors, interested parties that are outside Anambra State. We rely on what the people of Anambra State are saying, and based on what the governor has done so far, you can't help but appreciate him. There are indices that you could use to measure what a governor is doing. But again, our own indices could be quite different from what the people are looking for. It is in this country that people were talking about infrastructure and some other persons were talking about stomach infrastructure. And they overwhelmingly voted for stomach infrastructure. So it is not surprising because democracy is a crazy thing. People could, because of animal rights, decide to vote out somebody or vote in somebody. So that is how it is. But in terms of security, in terms of violence, there are platforms that people are celebrating that in the last 3 months or 2 months, that guns have been silent in Anambra State, which means that the people are concerned about peaceful conduct, and that the usual gunshot that is being heard in Anambra State is an aberration, and people are concerned about that. And they're celebrating that for the first time in the history of Anambra State, the guns have gone quiet for some time now. And they credited the governor for that. They credited the governor for infrastructure. They credited the governor for the action he has taken. But people will think that it is brutal when he said, if you are caught, if your house has been used to house kidnapped victims, your house will be pulled down. In fact, they particularly celebrated his handling of one of the marabouts that was notorious for preparing charms for criminals. And Aka Okuko, they called him. And people were very, very happy with what he did by ensuring that he uprooted him, because people felt he was not touchable and he could continue to do what he's doing. And so if you look at it critically, for the fact that he's able to stabilize Anambra State, he was able to provide infrastructure, he is tackling insecurity headlong, and the people are happy. And then they are saying that his second term is guaranteed. We hope that his second tenure is guaranteed, because you cannot bring in somebody who have not been tested, who does not equally have the will to act, to replace somebody who is already acting and doing what he needed to do. So I'm not saying that if the people of Anambra State feels that he has not done well, he should not be replaced. Coming to the unity among political parties, you see, the most important thing is peace in Anambra State. And I want every politician to borrow a leaf from former President Goodluck Jonathan, who says that my ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. And he lived by that dictum, and it saved Nigeria a lot of bloodbath when we're moving towards the handing over or the election that brought Buhari to power. And I'm sure that that very particular philosophy, if we abide by it as we've seen elsewhere, then Nigeria will be more peaceful. Even in the United States of America, there was a time election held between Bush and Al Gore. And what happened? Al Gore was popularly acclaimed to have won that election, but it was said that it was rigged in favor of the former president. And what did he do? He said, for the greater interest of America, he did not even go to court, as we used to say in this land and climb. He decided to just let it be for the sake of America. Even the current president of America felt that he won the election, but there was nothing he could do. He said for the interest of America, he was leaving. And even when he was leaving, he left a note for former President Biden to say that, you know, I won the election. This is the spirit we want to see in Nigeria. First thing first, Nigeria first, the peace of our people first, before our ambition. So if we see it from this very particular perspective, that there is always a tomorrow. If I did not make it today, I can make it tomorrow. Then we will support the process and support whoever wins the election, and there will be peace, stability, progress, and development for our people.
To Abu Amisu, first and first, peace is important, and the blood of any voter is worth more than the ambition of our politicians. Okay, there is something that we all have agreed. Okay, okay, we just want to remind our viewers that you can contribute to this discussion by sending us your questions or comments via the phone that is displayed on your screen. Now, the two have agreed that, I mean, this race is going to be between maybe 2 political parties or 4 political parties. That is, we're talking about the ABGA now, APC, PDP, and even LP. So from your own perspective, do you think the race is actually, I mean, this election is going to be between those 4 parties or the 16 political parties? And besides that, the INEC this time around have said they are going to deploy technology again. Do you think that will also help in, you know, encouraging people to come out to vote, to cast their ballot this time around?
So, I'm much more interested in process than outcomes, and I've trained myself over a period of time to stay with process. The election is, what makes election what it is that it is unpredictable. So the 16 political parties are equally footed to get into the government house. So what we will be interested in seeing is how much level playing ground is available for all the 16 political parties that have, you know, that are going to be vying for that office. Number one, we are seeing very clear underhand engagement in terms of media and access to the media. If you go to Anambra, political parties are being asked to pay humongous amount of money to put up billboards. And it's running into, I hear, close to 50 million. That singular action is an attack on media access and visibility for everyone. So we need to challenge incumbency in its use of the media and not creating that level playing ground for every political party. So that's important for me to underscore. And the reason of doing that is that we have seen in Nigeria, in Imo State, for instance, at some point, where the dominant political parties, out of their own internal issues, lost out to what you would call a marginal party at that time, PPA, the Orji Okalu party of that period. So yes, so we need to be a bit nuanced in how we also play, because there's also a thin line. No matter how much careful you are, you can advantage one party over the other through positive comments, you know, which itself will be altruistic. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but you are in a period where people are looking for advantage, and somebody can take, you know, the views of a respected public commentator like Jide and take a small clip and say Soludo is the magic, and that is not. That's just what I think. But let us just piggyback a bit for Anambra. In 2021, the INEC state headquarters was touched. Half of the place was burnt down. That was a signal to the kind of violence that was unleashed for Anambra. So you have a different, they cutted, burnt, including, what do you call them, the beavers and the rest. So there was a reconstruction that had to take place. In fact, the whole of the state headquarters were condoned off up to the period of the election. So we are seeing a different scenario, which is helpful. And I don't want to agree that this is a litmus test for whether, if the nominee is eventually cleared. Elections, subnational elections, are as good as the resident electoral commissioner. Part of the challenge that we have is that our centralization of processes always makes us to give comfort to the real actors, the real folks who will be organizing this election are the resident electoral commissioners in Anambra State, the electoral officers in the 21 local governments, the SPOs, and the returning officers. We must hold them accountable for free, fair, credible election. Like my brother said, Jide said, what the headquarters needs to do is to deploy sensitive and non-sensitive materials to the place, provide all that is necessary for them to conduct that election. If you followed Ondo election, Ondo had a resident electoral commissioner that was on top of her game. And so in terms of process, you will see that the Ondo election process-wise was excellent. The shenanigan that took place was in the domain of the politicians, but not from the point of election administration. So I'm always interested in us holding those guys, because the chain of election manipulation is wide. He's not located in the 12 and 1 national commissioner in the headquarters. The chain is the returning officers can cancel the election where they think that somebody have advantage. They can't do that. And then when they do that, they hide, and then you start calling Abuja. You start saying INEC. We must start a situation in which we can hold people accountable in INEC. If we say Anambra election, can we play up the resident electoral commissioner? Who is she? She's a woman right now. What is that? Can we profile her? Can we begin to look at how she engages electoral administration and ask questions around her capacity, her competence, her professionalism, and her ability to deliver on that election? So when we talk of Omokuton or Mrs. May Agbamuche, the person who is doing the deals in Anambra would fold her hand and be having a good laugh at us because we are not touchlighting the activities. The EOs are critical. First, they can decide to train people, and Jide has been a long-time trainer from where he's coming from. You can train people. After training them, these EOs will remove them and bring in untrained people. And then you start saying that the beavers is not working. It is simply because some electoral officer who is in charge of a local government have decided to remove people who were trained and bring in. These are the little details in terms of understanding election administration. As we go into not just Anambra election, 2027 election, we should profile the resident electoral commissioners. We should look at their background. We should look at, because some of them, including those who we knew had partisan inclinations, were cleared by the National Assembly. We should spotlight them so that when they behave in a particular way, that brush will not be used to, tar the whole commission.
Tar the whole commission, indeed. Holding them accountable is key. I will hear that our other guest from Oka, Anambra State, Chibunu Okoli Akrika, is on air now. We can see him. Good morning.
Thank you. I can help you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. You've been listening to the guests here in the studio, making their points on the Anambra election. Can you tell us what's the mood like in Anambra? What are the expectations? How is the campaign going? Just give an assessment of how it's going on in Anambra with expectations for the election.
Well, the truth is that the upcoming November election in Anambra State, will certainly be like another election. The politics is very tranquil. The people, the electorate are being energized and mobilized. The political parties are also upping their game. Simply put, I would say that the Anambra State, everything appears to be set for the election. All the political parties have been going about, playing in accordance with the rules. Apart from the unfortunate comments the incumbent governor made some time ago, regarding the academic qualification of some of the candidates and their personal details, I would say that generally in Anambra State, everything has got to be set, for the election. And the political parties are ready. In Africa, we have the incumbent governor, Professor Charles Soludo, with his mantra of solution and always take. For political party, we have the gentle giants, Dr. George Morgan, who has been preaching the political gospel of recovery agenda, which appears to be resonated with Anambrarians. For APC, we have Chief Nicholas Okajuku and the wonderful amazing lady, Senator Uche, preaching that Anambra State is broken and that are ready to fix it. Then for ADC, we have the gentleman there, John Wolshu. For YPP, we have the Debone and Oben Paul Chukuma. So I would say that the Anambra electorate, is being presented with an avalanche of wonderful candidates to choose from. But at the end of the day, the problem begins and ends with INEC. And what is most prominent in the politics of Anambra State is not violence. What's most prominent in the politics of Anambra State is not preparation. There's that bad actor vote by. So I would say that what INEC should do now is to in place a procedure that will minimize, that will checkmate, if possible, totally eliminate that evil act of vote buying. Because by the time you have a situation where people vote, they ought to vote secretly, but they are now voting openly, and they now show the party against or whoever is there for the political party who they voted for, and they go out there and are settled. It's not in the best interest of our democracy. So I would think that the upcoming November 8 election, it will offer INEC the opportunity to correct that anomalous situation that encourages vote buying. That aside, I would say that so far, so good, in Anambra State, the political parties are there, the electorate are eager. INEC, I think also, is doing some good work because some days ago, precisely on the second day of October, INEC had an interactive section with all the political parties, Guba candidates, state party chairmen, state party secretaries. And at that event, they told everybody that they are ready and prepared to conduct a free, fair, and transparent election. And to give in to what they said, they distributed this I think the soft copy of a voter's register to the point that the parties and the candidates can now essentially target those who are qualified to vote. So I would say that all together in Anambra State, the parties already apparently with the positive exception of PDP that appear to be having some problems, with their candidates. But that it is personal. It is personal, in particular to PDP. Other political parties are ready. The electorate are also ready. The security agencies, I think, they appear to be ready. So I will say that, everything being equal, though you know that human affairs, things cannot be equal. That from November 8th, we are going to witness a free, fair election in Anambra State. Provided INEC in places a procedure that will reduce to the barest minimum the unfortunate incidents of vote buying.
Okay, Mr. Okrika, thank you so much for your remarks there. You are on ground in Anambra State. Can you tell us if the government is providing, or INEC is providing, a level playing ground for all political parties for them to be able to, carry out their campaigns peacefully?
Well, the truth be told, like I said before, so far, so good. INEC has been doing wonderfully well. Like I said before, in the last interactive section, they didn't show any partisanship. They didn't show any partiality. They treated all the political parties equally. Those that went, they gave out the soft copy of a voter's register. So using that as a yardstick, I entertain no modicum of doubt that going forward, INEC will deliver. On the mandate. But like I said before, and I keep saying, what is most worrisome, based on experience and what just played out during the senatorial election conducted in Anambra State, is that unfortunate incident of vote buying. It's marring elections in Anambra State. That aside, for now, there is nothing, that will enable one to charge INEC with any act of partiality. No, INEC has not done that. In the course of training adult staff, they allowed whoever shows some competence, whoever shows some interest to participate in the process of interacting with political parties. Like I said before, I didn't notice any act or element of partiality. While treating the different political parties, I want to not notice that. So going forward, I expect INEC to continue, in this trajectory. And if that happens, and they're able to checkmate vote buying on the 8th day of November 2025, I want to say, without missing words, that in the Anambra will go out there and exercise their franchise. We are known for that. We are the light of the nation. We shall continue to showcase that we are the light of the nation.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Akirika, for your views there. At least you have assured us that the atmosphere there is peaceful so far, and there is a kind of a level playing ground for all political parties. Now, we have some comments from some of our viewers, which we would like to read out so that our guests can respond to them. This one is from Ahmed Baba Dikwa from Maiduguri. He says, instead of constantly denigrating INEC, the public should allow it to do its job. Our focus is misplaced. The real pressure should be on the politicians who flout INEC's regulations. Let's hold the rule breakers accountable, not just the institution trying to enforce the rules. Then this is from, my name is Ike, British. Is from a political scientist and criminologist based in Lagos. He said, I'm enjoying your good morning program. Sir, I would like them to tell us the extent to which the electoral reform has gone. Maybe, Jide, you want to respond to this before she reads out her own? Those two comments.
Well, electoral reform, as you know, is still underworks by the National Assembly, and we are all hoping and praying that they will fast-track this so that it can impact, the implementation can start in earnest. But thus far, nothing new. The National Assembly just resumed last Tuesday, so they are barely 1 week from all their annual vacation. So they have committed that priority will be given to completion of constitutional and electoral reform. But that will not be in good time for the Anambra election that is just about 3 weeks away. And I agree with the man from Maiduguri who talked. You see, some of us who have worked with the commission as partners, sometimes when we defend, people thought we are bought over or that we are consultants and we have received gratification. The real challenge Nigeria faces today with the democratic consolidation is the political class. They are the ones that always seek opportunity to undermine the process. My colleague in Anambra, what is he telling you? Vote buying. Who does vote buying? Is it INEC that is involved in vote buying? Who unleashes violence? Chief talked about the arson on INEC facility ahead of 2021 Ofsaku Governorship Election in Anambra. Who set INEC office ablaze? Is it INEC staff? Is it not the political class who wants to undermine the process? So, you see, when many of us on in Nigeria, these INEC people, these INEC people. I'm not saying they don't have their blame. But you see, in every football game, it's a layman that blames the referee. You always look the convenient way out. INEC, by its own nature, has an internal mechanism to deal with staff that compromise. And we have seen that. Even President Tinubu surprised me this year. Did you know that 3 resident electoral commissioners who compromised who tried to subvert the election in 2023 have all been sacked? The one in Adamawa that went and announced election that he doesn't have the and he was a lawyer. I mean, he's a lawyer rather. He's a lawyer, and he knew. I didn't say that. He's a lawyer, and you saw the role of the returning officer. Now he's been shown the door. The one in Sokoto that compromised has been shown. The one in Abia that compromised. 3 of them have been released. Don't also forget that even the professor that helped to rig election in Akwa Ibom is also serving jail time. So there is that internal mechanism to deal with staff and management of the commission that compromise. I'm not saying there are no bad eggs. Out of every 12, there will be a Judas. But the political class, how many of them have been held to account?
That's a big question.
That's a big question. Because they are the one that has the resources. They will reach out and say, they will dangle resources you have never seen all your life. Depending on your role in the system. Like the returning officer now. Why does INEC always shield the name of the returning officer? because they don't want them to be
exposed.
Because, and usually they would not, INEC would not appoint a returning officer from the state where the election is holding. So like this Anambra now, they might bring somebody from Kogi, they may bring somebody from Abia or from Imo to come and be the returning officer. And that's part of why INEC took, before 2010, it was INEC resident electoral commissioner that also doubles as returning officer. If you recall the Ayoka Adebayo saga in Ekiti State, but when Professor Jagake, he decided to take that responsibility so that he insulates the staff of the commission from that onerous task of being a returning officer. And that is why today they appoint an academic, a doctor, a professor, usually vice chancellors of the institution, to come and be the returning officer. And one other thing that I think innovation that this Anambra election would be a test case for is the operationalization of Section 65 of the Electoral Act. What does that say? That in the event of a wrong call, the law has also given INEC ability to review the election result. If there is a wrong call by a returning officer. Section 65 says within 7 days of holding that election, INEC administratively can review that. And now, before the exit of Professor Mamu Yakubu, they have now decided to come up with a guideline for how to do that. And the task has been given to resident electoral commissioner, returning officer, and INEC staff that has to do with, when this guideline was issued early this year, people were saying, oh, they should give the candidates that road, polling agent. But INEC knew what it was doing. If it gives the contestants opportunity to say, we want the result of this election reviewed, even somebody who did not win or who did not do well will seize the opportunity to stall the process. And that's why the commission, in its wisdom, decided that if there is a wrong call, like somebody making wrong declaration of result now, the resident electoral commissioner, the returning officer, because there is a possibility that the returning officer was put under duress. Somebody. Like Adamawa. Well, I don't know whether Adamawa was put under duress, but we have seen situations in Kano. There was a professor in Kano who was put under duress to make a wrong call in one of the house of rest where there was violence and killing, and the man was put under pressure. He made the declaration and said, this person won. I won't mention. But after he left the scene, he wrote to say, I made this declaration under duress. And INEC now declared that election inconclusive, and they had to go and do a supplementary election. Of course, the person who was declared under duress eventually won, but INEC has done its own work by declaring the result inconclusive. So the political class is whom we should appeal to. Because two major challenges we have with our election are violence and vote trading. Violence and vote trading. Take these two out. You will find that we can have peaceful, credible election. And let nobody be under the impression that it's only INEC that can guarantee credible elections. There are multi-stakeholders involved in the electoral process. Security agencies, what would they be doing? They have to help the commission in terms of deployment, in terms of making sure that they secure the environment of the election. The judiciary, if there is a wrong call, who makes election adjudication, or what we call election dispute resolution? It's the judiciary. The National Assembly, we are calling on them to fast track the electoral reform process. Jide. So all of this, we need to beam our satellite on the role each of them will be playing in Anambra, so that if anything goes wrong, we know who to hold responsible.
Thank you very much, today. Jide Ojo, thank you so much. We'll take a break now. When we return, the conversation will continue. Stay with us.
The Renewed Hope Initiative RHI presents the RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow. This national competition is in 3 categories. The household category is a tree planting competition amongst 11 frontline states in northern Nigeria. Each participating household in Adamawa, Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, Yobe, and Zamfara states will plant a minimum of 1 tree to qualify, with a video evidence of before and after the tree planting exercise. 20 million naira will be awarded to the best household. Submission deadline is 20th December 2026. Community category will see local governments, local communities, schools, and NGOs reclaim and transform degraded or abandoned areas such as dump sites, landfills, parks, and their likes into green, vibrant gardens, parks, and eco-friendly spaces. 50 million naira would be awarded to the overall best community group. Deadline for submission is 15th July 2026. State category will have all states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, excluding Enugu State, have a chance to address the growing threats to environmental sustainability and cleanliness. States will be judged based on the number of trees planted on major roads and inner streets and how clean they are. 100 million naira will be awarded to the best performing state. Already, Enugu State has 100 million naira for being RHI's model green state due to its greenery and cleanliness. Video evidence must be submitted by participating states on or before 20th December 2026. All entries must be directed to RHI Office, State House, Abuja, or email rhi.greenchallenge@statehouse.gov.ng. RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow.
Welcome your host, Bisola Ayola.
All the way from Akwa Ibom State, it's the sensational family. Woo! And all the way from Benue State, it's the TWC family.
My name is Christiana. I'm a fashion designer.
My name is Christiana. I'm a fashion designer. You are into Asia. You are into catering. You are into another thing. I sing. You sing as well. Oh my God. Grace, take it away.
All around the world, no one looks like you. You can put a smile on your face. You're beautiful. For the Spirit of the Lord lives and dwells in you.
Mention a common response if your situationship should ask you, what are we?
Pass. We are just friends. One item. Or like a sister to me.
Nothing.
Lovers.
We are who we are. We are who we are. Survey says.
You're welcome back, and you're still watching Good Morning Nigeria. Now, before I go to Dr. Hamisu, let me read some of the comments that came in so that he can respond to them. Let me begin with Arabika Inde Paul from Life Camp here in Abuja. He said, "Good morning, Nigeria. I am not surprised but disturbed by the trend of our elections campaigns, especially when issues are neglected but irrelevant matters take the center stage. I don't really care about gender percentage, but let candidates present their manifesto. Lastly, the low turnout can only be erased with accountability of candidates when elected. And another one said, INEC deploying technology in election in Anambra, will it work? It is what we have been hearing without seeing the benefit of it. Can that stop malpractice and manipulation? There is no name to that. Please, when you're sending your messages, send in your name too. And Chike Dim from Warri Delta State said, our nascent democracy has continued to thrive despite some encountered challenges in the process. Hopefully, it will get better. Anambra State off-cycle gubernatorial election is next in line. Presumably, it will be a two-horse race, this time between the incumbent ABGA and APC. Labour Party is no longer a force to reckon with after the recent internal wrangle that wrecked the structure of the party. We, the indigents of the state, are optimistic, but there will be fair and credible election devoid of crisis come November 8th in the state. We expect all and sundry to be in good conduct during the period of the election as we await who will be the next to take the mantle of leadership in the state. Chike Dim from Warri Delta State. Dr. Amisu, you're going to respond to this, and we've been talking about the big elephant in the room, and that is vote buying. And we all know that there's no election without that happening, even with arrests that we've seen in other off-cycle election and other elections across the country. How can Nigerians, through awareness, be able to understand that vote buying takes away your rights as a voter to vote who you want to be voted into office? Okay. Yeah, we lost him there. So, Ezenwa, if you can respond to that.
Well, this vote buying is a response to institutional reform. It's the politicians' response to institutional reform. Okay. So, the monies that are taken to the voters used to be given to the electoral officers to bring result sheets and ballot papers to the homes of politicians where they are completed, and thugs are used to take the one that was printed by the people, and then you exchange it for the one that was printed in hotel rooms and homes. That's where we are coming from. Now, when this same INEC returned power to the voters in a way that even when unscrupulous INEC officials hawk solutions to politicians, the politicians now know that you have to come to the polling unit and vote. They decided to be taking the money to the voters. And INEC responded to these politicians again by saying, don't come to polling units, if you remember, yeah, with your phones.
With your mobile phones.
Don't come to the place with your mobile phones so that you don't snap what you voted. Then they said, okay, let us reconfigure the cubicles, the voting cubicles, in a way that it guarantees secrecy of the ballot. The politicians took vote buying away from polling units to accounts, to transfer, to POSs, to giving people power, giving them fuel. Go to a filling station, buy fuel, then come and vote. The incredible ingenuity, negative ingenuity of the Nigerian politician, we are not putting it out to our people to see. And that's the challenge that we have. So we give them so much comfort in the activities that they do in perverting free and fair, credible elections. Every response that you see, every attempt at guaranteeing free, fair, credible is subverted by the politicians. Let me tell you, if you talk about punctuality index, for instance, logistics challenges that you face, what do? They compromise the vendors, the transport vendors, and say, don't come.
Don't come.
INEC has finished paying the vendors.
It happened during the 2023
Bring
election,
vehicles.
Yes.
The NURTW people will say, give us insurance. When you have collected money on the day of election, it is politicians playing their hands to make sure that they frustrate the process. So when those people who have been paid to do that job are stalling, they will provide
their own.
They will say, okay, let us carry the ballot. These things are known to everyone. They just do these things. Now, what do? For the security agents, because the nature of our election is that you have to escort these materials. If they penetrate that area, on election day morning, police will be doing marching. By 8 o'clock, they will be in their district doing marching. People who are supposed to go and escort materials, they will come to the polling unit by 9 o'clock. And you say, oh, INEC did not deploy. When Jide or myself say, this is what is happening, they say, no, you are defending INEC. Let us stop. These things, you have to engage it in a practical way to be able to understand the dangerous, very dangerous things that politicians are doing in our electoral process. The next thing they do is that they will not have party agents. They will not bring party agents to the polling unit or sufficient party agents. Because you are talking about technology. I'm responding to whether technology will work. So, election, broadly speaking, in Nigeria is manual. It's not technology. The infusion of technology is part of what this commission has done. But it does not take away the fact that after accreditation, which is done in a way electronically, every other thing you do up to results
is
manual. When this happens, you now get a copy of the results and give to the politician. His party agent will take, because we must re-emphasize this for people to know. You take a copy, manual copy, and hand over to a party agent. You hand over to police, security agents, 2 results. Before you now upload, even before that, what is uploaded is the form E60E. That one that is pasted on the wall for everybody to see. Right? You will have finished, upload it, then this presiding officer will snap a still photo
and send today.
And send to
the IRF.
A viewing, if you call it IRF, you confuse people. A viewing portal. Underline viewing.
Result viewing portal.
Result viewing portal, not collation portal. Now, the politician, through his agent, has his result in his pocket. He will keep that result in his pocket and then start shouting, they did not upload.
And he already has the result.
He has the result.
Or supposed to have the result, because even you have a right to have a polling agent at the unit.
So if you don't have a polling agent, what I expect to see in Anambra and anywhere is for PDP, APC to call Jide, call Jumai, call Oga and say, come to our district to come and see our results that we mined from our party agents represented in the 6,000 polling units in Anambra State. So don't talk about whether what is uploaded by INEC. Don't place emphasis on that. That is to enhance INEC's transparency and the integrity of their results. And for scholars and journalists and interested parties who want to see Anambra election later to go to this viewing portal and get this result. But the politicians, before you can upload anything, they should and ought to have their own results. Their indolence, their inability to have a collation process with which they can compare is the challenge that we have constantly faced in terms of technology. So you give the impression that you have a collation process that is real time. It is not real time. It is a viewing, underlining.
It's not for collation.
It's not for collation.
All right. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Hazelwa. Thank you so much. Okay, let's just take this one more comment, and so that Mr. Okoli Akirika can respond to it. It says, good morning. Conducting an election in Anambra shouldn't be a rocket science. If all parties and the ref, which is INEC, play according to the rules and regulations, let people decide whom they want, not manipulating and forcing yourselves into power. Dr. Akerika, you want to contribute to the comments ongoing?
Yes, in all honesty, I agree with some of the comments. When we talk about the electoral process, I'm a lawyer and a politician, but I don't want to appear partisan in this discourse. When we talk about the electoral process, the Electoral Act and the various INEC regulations, have in place the procedure that ought to be followed. We cannot totally discount the importance or imperatives of technology. But in Anambra State, I don't think the issue of election collection, is so much an issue. Anambra State is noted for being very peaceful, before, during, and after elections. The most important problem or challenge facing the electoral process in Anambra State is that of vote buying or vote trading. So I want to say it for the opting time that INEC should, as a matter of fact, deploy so much energy to contain or checkmate that particular incident. Having said that, I don't think that they will have issues with distribution of electoral materials. Rather, we may have issue, going by experience, with timeliness. In Anambra State, either because of the topography or some areas, electoral materials from experience oftentimes get there so late. So what I need in this particular instance is to ensure that in those areas that are a little bit far flung from the state capital, places like IMLM, local government, Anambra East and West, that have challenging terrains, Iala, that is still being threatened, by insecurity, Obaru, and some aspects of Onitsha South. And they should, do some more homework to ensure that electoral materials, are supplied very timely, in those areas. And I want to assure you that once those things are put in place, and INEC takes the further step to reduce to the barest minimum the unfortunate incidents of vote buying, Anambra State, as usual, is going to showcase a wonderful example on the 8th day of November 2025.
To me now. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. I really like the way you broke it down. But there's another message that came in from Oka. He says, "Saz, Madam," and I would like you to respond to that. INEC should be solely responsible for anything that happens in any elections. INEC should cancel elections in any polling unit if rules are broken. INEC is like police to protect robbers from robbing. INEC can cancel elections if they even feel that money is exchanging hands. We should stop shifting blames. Say thank you and God bless. Now, we've talked about, the deep-rooted issues affecting the election climate, especially in Anambra. So how are you going to see it in just 1 minute? How is it going to play out on November 8th?
On those issues enumerated by that person, INEC should not be blameworthy, on all those issues. If you talk about people not coming out to vote, or people coming out to vote, that should not be led at the doorsteps of INEC. Now, when we talk about vote buying, like one of the speakers said before, much orientation, much education, must be put in, must be invested to let people know that they are trading off their future. When you take 3,000 to 5,000 naira, to sell your vote, it means that for the next 3-4 years, that 3,000 to 5,000 naira will continue to define their future. What is important for us in Anambra State, for the purposes of November election, is one, INEC should endeavor to make sure that electoral materials are sent to those areas I highlighted. Two, INEC should put in place a system that will help us to checkmate the ugly incident of vote buying. Then three, and most important, once elections are concluded, INEC should tidy up the results, give the results to security agents, the party agents that are present, and paste the results on the wall as mandated by the law. Anything short of that, I would say that Anambra Governorship Election slated for 8 November 2025 shall certainly be what Anambra State is sued for. Peaceful conduct of election, people going out there to exercise their franchise, and the unfortunate incident of Upai.
Election, that's what we are all hoping for. Now let's come back to the studio as we begin to round up this conversation this morning. Jide Ojo, let's look at what do you think is likely to be the outcome? I mean, let's say the expectation for post, election stability. What has been the situation in the past, and what do you foresee in this coming election?
Well, the electoral process has 3 phases. We are in the pre-election phase now. Well, November 7th, 8th will be in the election phase, and then post-election will be how to manage. But you see, what is very significant is that we, as I was saying in my earlier comment, we need to assign responsibility to all the critical stakeholders that can guarantee peaceful elections. You are talking about post-election management. Pre-election, election, security is very important. Anambra, yes, the people are very peaceful. But as our colleague from Oka said, Iyala is still having some security challenge. INEC has instituted what is called Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. This is the time for them to swing into action. Make sure that they do security mapping. All the hotspots, likely hotspots, they should take out the bad boys in those environments so that people can have interest to come out. Chief Ezenwa talked about, Anambra being notorious for low voter turnout. My brother in Oka was talking of vote buying. It's a paradox that there is money to give you, but people are still not coming to collect the money. Because if the issue of vote buying or vote trading that we are trying to elevate is such an issue, and people are poor, and people want free money, they should come out. Then we should be seeing like 50%, 70% voter turnout. I don't know whether you get my drift. But why is it that, despite the fact that there is money to be had for your vote, there is still low voter turnout? So we need to challenge the security agencies, particularly under the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, to do proper work, and then the anti-corruption agencies, EFCC, ICPC, usually deploys. And that's who should be held responsible if there's incidents of vote buying. Because INEC cannot abandon its core responsibility of conducting election to be chasing after who is paying for vote or not.
Jide, I have to pause you there. Let's bring in Ezenwa. What factors would likely decide this election now? In 1 minute space.
What would decide the election would be the determination of the people to reward or to punish. They can reward the incumbent or punish him and bring in new persons. So the power lies with the voters. But in closing, vote buying is a crime. INEC does not have a police. The police, the security agencies have a responsibility to enforce law and order. And part of their responsibility is to do what Dr. Okrika is talking about. They are the ones to create an environment in which vote buying will not thrive. And so if they shirk that responsibility, let us talk to the vendors. All the vendors, the NURTW should be responsible so that there will be timely, deployment. If they do that, we will be able to then have an election that can worth the while for Anambrarians.
Thank you so much, Ezenwa Nwago, Chairman, Partners for Electoral Reforms. We appreciate your contributions to this conversation. Jide Ojo, a public affairs analyst. As usual, it's been a pleasure. Mazi, to have you in our studio. And also Dr. Abdurrahman Habuamisu, researcher, political scientist, and public affairs analyst, who joined us via Zoom, but the Zoom network went haywire. Thank you so much for contributing to our conversation this morning. And from Oka, Anambra State, Chubunna Okoli Akirika, a barrister at law and political analyst. We all appreciate you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming on Good Morning Nigeria today. And that's Good Morning Nigeria. I am Jumwa Yusuf. Do have a wonderful day.
And I'm Adimola. Do have a lovely day.